1.2.21 Hidyate hridayagranteschidhyate sarvasamshaya kshiyate chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvare. Translation: Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive action is terminated with one sees the self as master. Attaining scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead means seeing one's own self simultaneously. As far as the identity of the living being as spirit self is concerned, there are a number of speculations and misgivings. The materialist does not believe in the existence of the spirit self. The empiric philosophers believe in the impersonal feature of the whole spirit without individuality of the living beings. But the transcendentalists affirm that the soul and the supreme are two different identities, qualitatively one but quantitatively different. There are many other theories, but all these different speculations are at once cleared off as soon as Sri Krishna is realized in truth by the process of Bhakti Yoga. Sri Krishna is like the sun, and the materialistic speculations about the absolute truth are like the darkest midnight. As soon as Krishna's sun is arise within one's heart, the darkness of materialistic speculation about the absolute truth and the living beings is at once cleared off. In the presence of the sun, the darkness cannot stand, and the relative truth that were hidden within the dense darkness of ignorance become clearly manifested by the mercy of Krishna, who is residing in everyone's heart as Supersoul. In Bhagavad Gita 10.11, the Lord says that in order to show special favor to his pure devotee, he personally eradicates the dense darkness in all misgiving by switching on the light of pure knowledge within the heart of the devotee. Therefore, because of the personality of Godhead's taking charge of illuminating the heart of his devotees, certainly a devotee engaged in his service is transcendental love, cannot remain in darkness. He comes to know everything of the absolute and the relative truths. The devotee cannot remain in darkness, and because of a devotee is enlightened by the personality of Godhead, his knowledge is certainly perfect. This is not the case for those who speculate on the absolute truth by dint of their own limited power of approach. Perfect knowledge is called parampara or deductive knowledge coming down from the authority of the submissive oral receiver who is bona fide by service and surrender. One cannot challenge the authority of the Supreme and know him also at the same time. He reserves the right of not being exposed to such a challenging spirit of an insignificant spark of the whole, a spark subjected to the control of illusory energy. The devotees are submissive, and therefore the transcendental knowledge descends from the personality of Godhead to Brahma and from Brahma to his sons and disciples in succession. This process is helped by the supersoul within such devotees. This is the perfect way of learning transcendental knowledge. The enlightenment perfectly enables the devotee to distinguish from matter because the knot of spiritual matter is united by the Lord. The knot is called ahankara and is falsely obliges a living being to become identified with matter. As soon as this knot is loosened, therefore, all the clouds of doubt are at once cleared off. One sees his master and fully one sees his master and fully engages himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Making a full termination of the chains of fruitive action. In material existence, a living being creates his own chain of fruitive work and enjoys the good and bad effect of those actions life after life. But as soon as he engages himself in the loving service of the Lord, he at once becomes free from the chain of karma. His action no longer creates any reaction.
Recording in progress.
1.2.22 अतो वैय कामायो नित्यं भक्तिं परमया मुदा वासुदेवे भगवती कुर्वत्य आत्मा प्रसादनिम्. Translation. Certainly, therefore, since time im, immor, im, immemorial, all transcendentalists have been rendering devotional service to Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, with great delight because such devotional service is enlivening to the self. Purport. The speciality of devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is specially mentioned herein. Lord Sri Krishna is the Swayam Rupa, personality of Godhead, and all other forms of Godhead. Beginning from Sri Baladeva, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and Narayan, and extending to the Purusha avatars, Guna avatars, Lila avatars, Yuga avatars, and many other thousands of manifestations of the personality of Godhead are Lord Sri Krishna's plenary portions and integrated parts. The living entities are separated parts and parcels of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, Lord Shri Krishna is the original form of Godhead, and he is the last word in the transcendences. Thus, he is more attractive to the higher transcendentalists who practice in the eternal pastimes of the Lord. In form of the personality of Godhead, other than Shri Krishna and Baldev, there is no facility for intimate personal contact as in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord at Vrajbhumi. The transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna are not newly accepted. As argued by some less intelligent person, his pastimes are eternal and are manifested in due course once in a day of Brahmaji. As the sun rises on the eastern horizon at the end of every 24 hours. One point two point 23. Sattvam rajastama iti prakritir gunaster yukta para purusha eva itihasya dhate स्थिते स्थिते आदेय हरि विरिंची हरिते समजना श्रेयासी तर खलु श्रेयासी तत्र खलु सत्व तनोर नृणाम शिव. Translation. The transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the three qualitative form of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the quality of the goodness. That Lord Sri Krishna, by his plenary part, should be rendered devotional service as explained above, is confirmed by this statement. Lord Sri Krishna and his plenary parts are Vishnu Tattva, or the Lordship of Godhead. From Sri Krishna, the next manifestation is Baladev. From Baldev is Sankarshana. From Sankarshana is Narayan. From Narayan, there is second Sankarshana, and from this Sankarshana, the Vishnu Purusha avatars. The Vishnu, or the deity of the quality of goodness in the material world, is the Purusha Avatara, known as Shirodakshay Vishnu or Paramatma. Brahma is the deity or Rajasa, passion, and Shiva is ignorance. They are the three departmental heads of the three qualities of this material world. Creation is made possible by Brahma's quality of passion and his endeavor. It is maintained by the goodness of Vishnu, and when it requires to be destroyed, Lord Shiva does it with by the Tandavantraya. The materialist and the foolish human beings worship Brahma and Shiva respectively, but the pure transcendentalist worship the form of goodness, Vishnu, in his various forms. Vishnu is manifested by his millions and billions of integrated forms and separated forms. The integrated forms are called Godhead, and the separated forms are called the living entities or the Jivas. Both the Jivas and Godhead have their original spiritual forms. Jivas are sometimes subjected to the control of material energy, but the Vishnu forms are always controlled by his energy. When Vishnu, the personality of Godhead, appears in the material world, he comes to deliver the conditioned living beings who are under the material energy. Such living beings appear in the material world with intentions of being lords, and thus they become entrapped by the three modes of nature. As such, the living entities have to change their material coverings for undergoing different terms of imprisonment. The prison house of the material world is created by Brahma under construction of the personality of Godhead. And at the conclusion of the Kalpa, the whole thing is destroyed by Shiva. But as far as maintenance of the prison house is concerned, it is done by Vishnu, as much as the state prison house is maintained by the state. Anyone, therefore, who wishes to get out of this prison house of material existence, which is full of miseries like repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age, must please Lord Krishna for such liberation. Lord Vishnu is worshipped by devotional service only. And if anyone has to continue prison life in the material world, he may ask for relative facilities for temporary relief from the different demigods like Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Varuna. No demigod, however, can release the imprisoned living beings from the conditioned life of material existence. This can be done only by Vishnu. Therefore, the ultimate benefit may be derived from Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna, Payal Mataji.
हरी बोल।
इस पे कुछ बोलना है आपको?
नहीं, सॉरी, आई जॉइन 10 minutes लेट।
चलेगा चलेगा, अच्छा था ये 3 मोड्स ऑफ।
प्रेजेंट का जो बोला हुआ है ना मेन।
नेक्स्ट आप पढ़ोगे?
हाँ हाँ, बड़ा कर सकते हैं ना। पार्थिवाद
बड़ा करो।
पार्थिवादा, हाँ थोड़ा सा, हाँ बेटर। पार्थिवादारुणो धूमस्तस्मादग्निस्त्रयीमय तस्मसस्तु रजस्तस्मात् सत्त्वं यद्ब्रह्मदर्शनम्। Translation: Firewood is a transformation of earth, but smoke is better than the raw wood, and fire is still better, for by fire we can derive the benefits of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifices. Similarly, passion, rajas, is better than ignorance, tamas, but goodness, sattva, is best because by goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. As explained above, one can get release from the conditioned life of material existence by devotional service to the personality of Godhead. It is further comprehended herein that one has to rise to the platform of the mode of goodness, sattva, so that one can be eligible for the devotional service of the Lord. But if there are impediments on the progressive path, anyone, even from the platform of tamas, can gradually rise to the sattva platform by the expert direction of the spiritual master. Sincere candidates must, therefore, approach an expert spiritual master for such a progressive march, and the bona fide expert spiritual master is competent to direct a disciple from any stage of life, tamas, rajas, or sattva. It is a mistake, therefore, to consider that worship of any quality or any form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is equally beneficial. Except Vishnu, all separated forms are manifested under the conditions of material energy, and therefore the forms of material energy cannot help anyone to rise to the platform of sattva, which alone can liberate a person from material bondage. The uncivilized state of life, or the life of the lower animals, is controlled by the mode of tamas. The civilized life of man, with a passion for various types of material benefits, is the stage of rajas. The rajas stage of life gives a slight clue to the realization of the absolute truth in the forms of fine sentiments in philosophy, art, and culture with moral and ethical principles. But the mode of sattva is a still higher stage of material quality, which actually helps one in realizing the absolute truth. In other words, there is a qualitative difference between the different kinds of worshipping methods as well as the respective results derived from the predominating deities, namely Brahma, Vishnu, and Hara.
ये
गुरु
आपने
की वैल्यू कहाँ
लास्ट पैरा जो आपने
का-
पढ़ा कि
हाँ
uncivilized state of life or the life of the lower animals is controlled by the mode of tamas. Okay, they matlab this is
हम्म,
human life. The civilized life of man with the passion for various types of material benefits is the stage of rajas. The rajas stage of life gives a slight clue to the realization of the absolute truth in the forms of fine sentiments in philosophy, art, culture with moral and ethical principles. इसका मुझे नहीं समझा, मतलब जो civilized man है, जो is this in the stage of rajas और
रजस में आपको फिर भी थोड़ा बहुत रियलाइजेशंस होते हैं। जैसे तमस तो बिल्कुल ही आप एनिमल स्टेज पे पहुंच गए, वहां तो आपको मतलब ही नहीं है,
राइट,
ओनली यू आर मीटिंग ईटिंग एंड स्लीपिंग।
ओके,
civilized man, life of man में though you are asking for material benefits, but still थोड़ा सा realization absolute truth का है, but
ओके,
the best above
इस
of them is sattva. और
राइट,
गुरु की जो उन्होंने बताया that he can rise us, मतलब he
हम्म,
can take us
यस,
from this level to this level, but without guru it is not possible.
बोनाफाइड गुरु.
Yes.
1.2.25 विश्वे मुनयोथाग्रे भगवन्तम् अधोक्षजं सत्वं विशुद्धां क्षेमाय कल्पते ये नूतान इह. Translation. Previously, all the great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and thus derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world. The purpose of performing religion is neither to profit by material gain nor to get the simple knowledge of discerning matter from spirit. The ultimate aim of religious performances is to release oneself from material bondage and regain the life of freedom in the transcendental world, where the personality of Godhead is the supreme person. Laws of religion, therefore, are directly enacted by the personality of Godhead. And except for the Mahajanas or the authorized agents of the Lord, no one knows the purpose of religion. There are 12 particular agents of the Lord who know the purpose of religion, and all of them render transcendental service unto Him. Persons who derive their own good may follow these Mahajanas and thus attain the supreme benefit. Total 12 agents हैं.
Mahajanas.
करो next.
हाँ. SB 1.2.26. Mumukshavo ghora rupana hitva bhuta patin atha narayan kala shanta bhajantyana suyava. Translation. Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious, and they respect all. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of the demigods and worship only the all blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is the original person of the Vishnu categories, expends himself in two different categories, namely integrated plenary portions and separated parts and parcels. The separated parts and parcels are the servitors, and the integrated plenary portions of Vishnu Tattvas are the worshipful objects of service. All demigods who are empowered by the Supreme Lord are also separated parts and parcels. They do not belong to the categories of Vishnu Tattva. The Vishnu Tattvas are living beings equally as powerful as the original form of the personality of Godhead, and they display different categories of power in consideration of different times and circumstances. The separated parts and parcels are powerful by limitation. They do not have unlimited power like the Vishnu Tattvas. Therefore, excuse me, one should never classify the Vishnu Tattvas or the plenary portions of Narayana, the personality of Godhead, in the same categories with the parts and parcels. If anyone does so, he becomes at once an offender by the name Pashandi. In the age of Kali, many foolish persons commit such unlawful offenses and equalize the two categories. The separated parts and parcels have different positions in their estimation of material powers, and some of them are like Kal Bhairav, Shamshan Bhairav, Shani, Mahakali, and Chandika. These demigods are worshipped mostly by those who are in the lowest categories of the mode of darkness or ignorance. Other demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Surya, Ganesha, and many similar deities are worshipped by men in the mode of passion, urged on by the desire for material enjoyment. But those who are actually situated in the mode of goodness, sattva guna, of material nature, worship only Vishnu Tattvas. Vishnu Tattvas are represented by various names and forms such as Narayan, Damodar, Vaman, Govind, and Adhokshaja. The qualified Brahmins worship the Vishnu Tattvas represented by the Shaligram Shila, and some of the higher castes, like the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, also generally worship the Vishnu Tattvas. Highly qualified Brahmins, situated in the mode of goodness, have no grudges against the mode of worship of others. They have all respect for other demigods, even though they may look ghastly, like Kal Bhairav or Mahakali. They know very well that these horrible features of the Supreme Lord are all different servitors of the Lord under different conditions. Yet they reject the worship of both horrible and attractive features of the demigods, and they concentrate only on the forms of Vishnu because they are serious about liberation from the material conditions. The demigods, even to the stage of Brahma, the supreme of all demigods, cannot offer liberation to anyone. Hiranyakashipu underwent a severe type of penance to become eternal in life, but his worshipful deity, Brahma, could not satisfy him with such blessings. Therefore, Vishnu and none else is called Mukti path, or the personality of Godhead who can bestow upon us mukti, liberation. The demigods, being like other living entities in the material world, are all liquidated at the time of the annihilation of the material structure. They are themselves unable to get liberation, and what to speak of giving liberation to their devotees. The demigods can award the worshippers some temporary benefit only, and not the ultimate one. It is for this reason only that candidates for liberation deliberately reject the worship of the demigods, although they have no disrespect for any one of them.
वाह, बहुत अच्छा था ये ना, बहुत अच्छा था.
हम्म, वो जो गणेश जी के आने में गणेश पूजा वो सब शुरू हो जाती है ना,
Yes,
बेसिकली नथिंग इज रॉन्ग।
yes, yes, yes,
पहले
yes.
जैसे, हाँ पहले जैसे एक था, मतलब मेरे उसमें एक मतलब मेरा ही था ये कंसेप्शन था कि इस्कॉन में तो किसी को मानते ही नहीं है, कोई नौ दुर्गे के फास्ट ही नहीं रखता है कुछ ऐसा।
हम्म,
तो माय कंसेप्शन वाज रॉन्ग। बेसिकली पीपल आर डूइंग लाइक, इफ आई टॉक अबाउट राधा रानी माता जी, तो वो
हम्म,
फास्टिंग और अपने जो रिचुअल्स वो फॉलो करती आ रही हैं। तो आप जब सीनियर लोगों को ये सब करते हुए देखते हो ना, तो आपका फेथ एटलीस्ट
ये
इस
रहता
चीज
है.
में बढ़ जाता है that हम किसी चीज के अगेंस्ट नहीं है। इट्स जस्ट दैट
ये
विष्णु वो पार्ट्स एंड पार्सल्स हैं, एंड विष्णु इज एवरीथिंग।
एवरीथिंग राइट.
अच्छा दिया
और
हुआ है।
जिसका गोल लिबरेशन है तो वही विष्णु को
यस,
वर्शिप करेंगे.
यस।
अभी जो क्षत्रिय है जिसको बिजनेस करना है, ये करना है, तो वो फिर देवी या गणेश या ऐसा शिवा.
गणेश जी को बिठा के बोलेगा बिजनेस अच्छा करवा दो इस बार, और हो भी जाता है।
एनीवेज
गणेश
अगर
जी।
हमारी पूजा में भी कोई भी विधि हो पर उसमें गणेश जी तो इम्पोर्टेंट है, उनके बगैर तो कुछ
यस,
नहीं होगा.
कुछ ने शादी के कार्ड पे देखो स्टार्टिंग ही
हाँ,
गणेश जी से होती है।
तो ये
यस,
उनका
यस,
इतना
यस।
इम्पोर्टेंस तो है.
यस। अभी तो हो गया टाइम ना।
हाँ, हाँ. तो अभी कल हम 1.2.27 से स्टार्ट करेंगे, है ना.
27 से, यस।
यस. ओके, चलेगा, टाइम
ठीक है।
हो गया है.
यस। हरी बोल।
हरी बोल. थैंक यू.
थैंक यू।
हरी बोल.